Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Bari'il khalaiq ajma'in. Wassalatu wassalam wa tahiyyatu wal ikram ala nabiyyil ummiyyil makkiyyil madaniyyil qarashiyyil hashimi. الذي سمي في السماء بأحمد وفي الأرض بأبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجه وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين سيما بقية الله الأعظم روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء. أما بعد فقد قال أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب عليهما السلام: أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله واتباع أمره ونهيه. First of all, I recommend myself and all of you to practice piety, which is essential for our spiritual growth. We are in the month of Shawwal. The month of Shawwal, as we are aware, is after the month of Ramadan, in which we had a good exercise of promoting our spirituality through attaining taqwa. And that taqwa is not limited to the month of Ramadan, and in fact we have to continue practicing the same until coming month of Ramadan next year. That's why in every sermon of Friday, it is essential part for the khatib who delivers lecture to talk about taqwa and piety, so we can recharge our spirituality in a weekly basis, so we can perform better during the week. On 15th of the month of Shawwal, we commemorated the death anniversary and the martyrdom anniversary of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam. The personality of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam is not only famous among the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhi wassalam, rather it is famous among Muslims, all schools of thoughts, and also in non-Muslims, where we have discussion about knowledge and science, not limited to the Islamic knowledge, the Islamic science, but even in geography, chemistry, astrology, geology, in many other sciences like medicine. The contributions of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam is so significant, and his university in Medina, in which we had 4,000 plus experts in different fields, which hardly you will find a couple hundred experts in big universities in present days in different fields. So it is good to discuss about the contributions of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam, so we can understand the sacrifices made by him and contributions which is so significant until now, and until the day of judgment the humanity will pay homage once understands the contributions of such a great personality. And before that, I want to go a historical background, how Imam alayhi salatu wassalam reached up to that stage. We are aware that after the departure of our noble Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was a rift among the Ummah, and we had so many schools of thoughts concerning the hot issues, the hot Islamic issues, concerning the leadership, concerning the imama, even in different theological matters and in different ethical matters, in different Islamic principles and commandments and beliefs. We had so many differences of opinion. One side, entrance of hundreds of thousands of new Muslims from across the globe embracing Islam, and so many questions arises in their minds. They are coming from different backgrounds: Arabs, non-Arabs, Egyptians, Persians, Europeans, Indians, Chinese. They were entering into Islam in large number. يَدْخُلُونَ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ أَفْوَاجًا. Groups and groups, they were entering into Islam with so many different backgrounds, with so many questions about beliefs, about ethics, about commandments and rulings and principles of Islam. This is one side. The other side, not having proper personalities to answer these questions, created so many sects in Islam. And now if you check the Islamic world, enjoying having more than 70 sects, and which was predicted by our noble Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in many ahadith, and there is no time to discuss on that topic today. And after the different stages of history of Islam, these discussions moving forward, and so many differences of opinion were there on ground. And in the time of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, that was the peak of the history of Islam, in which we had so many differences of opinion, and literally it was debated and literally it was documented. And that's where we find the different jurisprudential schools of thoughts. We have Hanafi, we have Maliki, we have Hanbali, and we have Ja'fari, and until now these jurisprudential differences existed, and Muslims in one way they are enjoying the difference of opinion, the other way unfortunately these difference of opinion ending up to clashes sometimes because of the ignorance of the people and ignorance of the masses and misuse of enemies of the Islam who are initiating these clashes in Islamic territories and among the Muslim Ummah. In the time of Imam Baqir alayhi salatu wasalam, you know that the massacre of Karbala was a turning point of the history of Islam, in which we had one force who were totally against Islamic principles. They were trying to sabotage Islam from the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When they failed to do so, they turned their method, and they changed their method, and they converted into Islam. They embraced Islam and penetrated into the heart of Islamic Ummah and tried to create deviations and sabotaging the entire Islamic Ummah being within. In Quran we have so many verses talking about hypocrites, and the whole chapter named after Al-Munafiqun, the hypocrites. And it was there since the time of Rasulullah. In the time of Rasulullah, it was the situation was not allowing them to sabotage openly, and some of them they were able to create so many fitnas during the time of Rasulullah. And after Rasulullah, they found the good ground for themselves to elaborate these fitnas, and until now we see that these fitnas are continuing in the form of ISIS and Al-Qaeda and these groups who are creating so many fitnas, and there is a background for them to do so, and that background support is something is demonstrating with such a fitna and wasting the energy and the resources of the Muslim Ummah. After the massacre of Karbala, in which the grandson of Rasulullah, Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, well defended the legacy of Rasulullah by sacrificing himself and his family members and his companions, around 72 plus innocent people, the high profile people who sacrificed themselves to preserve the legacy of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and fail the plan and the plot by the enemies who tried to sabotage the Islam. And after the massacre of Karbala, because of the political situation which was under the control of Umayyads, Imam Sajjad, Imam Zainul Aabidin alayhi salatu wasalam, was not able to openly propagate and preserve the legacy of Islam, but he took the other method. He used the other method, which was the indirect method of bringing and training the Muslims and promoting the Islamic ethics and Islamic values through du'as and preserving certain elements who may benefit later on for the Islamic Ummah. And in the time of Imam Baqir alayhi salatu wasalam, it was a difference and clashes between the two forces at that time, the Umayyads and the Abbasids, and they were engaging, quarreling each other. So it was a golden era and golden time for Imam Baqir alayhi salatu wasalam to promote the Islamic teachings and preserve the legacy of Rasulullah through educating the Ummah, educating the selected persons from the Ummah so they can reproduce the scholars in centuries to come. And Imam Baqir alayhi salatu wasalam led the foundation of the Islamic University in Medina, and after the departure and the martyrdom of Imam Baqir alayhi salatu wasalam, Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam took this responsibility and he elaborated and he made that university so big that in which we had 4,000 different experts in several fields, from geography, from astrology, from chemistry, algebra, medicine, geomology, you just name it, in different sciences, Islamic and academic. And unfortunately we divided that into two categories, Islamic and academic, while the all sciences which promotes the unity, which promotes the monotheism and tawheed within ourselves is considered as Islamic, whether it is geography, whether it is astrology or medicine or algebra or chemistry, whatever. But whatever the sciences promoting and keeping us away from the tawheed and oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that considered as the non-Islamic science. Even if you recite Quran and that recitation drags you from the principles of Islam and keeps you away from the principles of Islam, that considered as a haram and illegal, and that is not Islamic. Like the Quran itself shouts that Rubba talinil Quran. The Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam in his hadith, he mentions that Rubba talinil Quran wal Quranu yal'anuhu. There are many reciters of the Quran itself curse upon them. Like for instance, the reciter of the Quran who openly sabotage the principles of Islam by lying, and Quran says la'natullahi alal kadhibin, curse upon those who lie. So the reciter says the same thing, and that curse goes to himself if he is a liar. So what Islam promotes is any science which promotes the tawheed and promotes the Islam and bowing towards our Creator, moving towards our Creator and purpose of our creation is considered as Islamic science. Chemistry, astrology, medicine or biology or the geography, whatever you name it. So all these students and the scholars who going through with these studies, acquiring the knowledge of different sciences, if their goal and purpose is to attain taqwa, to seek nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and help the ummah and help the humanity, to uplift the humanity, that considered as Islamic science. So Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam elaborated the Islamic, the circle of the Islamic sciences, and included the different sciences which was the need of the society, like medicine, geography, chemistry, biology, and even geomology. They're talking about the gems, and he had so many answers to the questions of the people at that time. So he trained more than 4,000 experts in different fields, and until now we are enjoying from those students of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, who contributed significantly in promotion of science, different sciences, not only famous as Islamic sciences, but the sciences which benefiting the humanity and generations to come. We can categorize the contributions of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam in a peaceful atmosphere, in a cohesive atmosphere, in a harmonious atmosphere, in a way that a Muslim and non-Muslim both can sit side by side and learn from the knowledge of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam. Different sects of Islam, they were sitting beside Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, side by side, and they were benefiting from the knowledge of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, up to a level that the Islamic world is now recognizing, and it is something known to those who are knowledgeable, that the two Imams of the great fiqh, the Muslim Ummah, Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam Malik, both of them were the students of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, up to a level that Imam Abu Hanifa, his name was Nu'man, he himself mentioned that لَوْلَا الثَّنَتَانِ لَهَلَكَ النُّعْمَانِ, if I was not there being with Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, learning from him as a student of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam for 2 years, I was going to be vanished. So he was recognizing the importance of being with Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam and learning from Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, being as his student. So his contributions was not limited to his followers, but it was open to all, Muslims and non-Muslims, even those who are not believing in God, those who are denying the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the atheists. They came to Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, and the method of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, the approach of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam was so nice that he attracted even the atheists, and they embraced Islam within no time. His akhlaq, his conduct, his character, his way of talking, his way of teaching, his way of debating was so attractive that the people who had animosity with Imams and the infallible Imams and the family of Rasulullah, they turn and they turn towards him and they embrace his legacy and they embrace the Islam and they became the mu'min. We can categorize, just before that I want to mention one very interesting point from the history of Islam, that while Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam was just 12 years of age, Imam Baqir alayhi salatu wasalam was teaching the theories existed about the different elements in the universe, the theories of the Romans, the Aristotle particularly. He was in the opinion that we have 4 elements in the universe: earth, water, air and fire. While Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, he was just 12 years of age, he heard this theory. He said that how come you consider earth as a single element, while earth itself consisting with so many independent elements. And also in other occasion he mentioned that how can we consider the air as an element, a single element, while air itself consisting with so many different elements, the independent elements. And now we come to know that there are so many elements within the earth, within the air, and this is something known to the scientists of today. After around about 2000 years of that theory, no one was able to raise this question until Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, and he raised this question, and you can understand the knowledge of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam and then his contributions. Let me, using the time, within the limited time, I want to categorize the contributions of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam into 5 different levels. As the bombardment of different theories coming in within the Islam and outside the Islam, it was a need of a source where you can learn the reality of the knowledge, the true knowledge of sciences and the true knowledge of Islam particularly, where Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam took this responsibility of explaining the right principles of Islam and elaborating it to the masses, irrespective of caste and creed and gender or region. People from Europe, people from Africa, people from within Arabia, and people from even Indian Peninsula and Persia, they used to go to Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam with so many questions, and they used to benefit from the knowledge of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam in this regard. And not only that, apart from explaining the right principles of Islam, using the different means available at that time, he was answering the questions and clarifying the doubts in the minds of different people, especially those who are recently embrace Islam and enter into the Islam. And they had so many questions, and they were, as I mentioned, they were coming from different backgrounds, from Rome, from Persia, from India, from Egypt, from different cultures they were entering, and they had so many questions, and there should be a right source who could explain to them and clear the doubts in their minds. And Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam did this very well, and we are enjoying from his knowledge until now, whatever they preserved for us, which is, if you check the history of Islam, the most ahadith we have from the source of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam is related to Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam. And also he was able to organize the classes. Third category, he was able to organize the classes, and he established and elaborated the big university in Medina, in which, as I mentioned, we had 4,000 plus experts in different fields. That was the significant contribution of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, and fortunately until now it is continued. And you see the Hawza of Najaf, which is more than 1,000 years enjoying from the knowledge and different sciences, and thousands of students and jurists and propagators of Islam came out of that big university, and that university is still continued. And also the Hawza and the Islamic seminary in Qom, which is the central Islamic seminary of the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, and the Ja'fari school of thought, and the center for more than 100,000 students from across the globe at present, and hundreds of thousands of students spread across, and they are fulfilling the gap of what was missing, and they are propagating true Islam, the school of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, across the globe. And that was in continuation of the contributions of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, we established such type of Islamic seminary in Medina. And the fourth category, we can say that the Imam used to elaborate and train and propagate and preserve the legacy of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the training the experts in different fields. We had the Mufaddal, who was expert in Tawheed. We had the Hisham ibn Hakam, who was expert in Imama and leadership. And you just continue in different fields, in chemistry, in algebra, in biology, in medicine, in different categories. He was able to train the experts, and each one of them were able to train hundreds of students, and now we are enjoying from the Islamic sciences. And up to the recent age, the Muslims were in the leading position in medicine, in algebra, in chemistry, in astrology, in different sciences. The inventions came out from Muslims were significant, and unfortunately we lost the legacy of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, and we engage ourselves in sabotaging each other and bringing down each other out of jealousy and out of ignorance, and that's how we lost the leading position in Islamic Ummah. And if we pay attention to the legacy of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam and forgetting the prejudices and sectarian mentality and come under the banner of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, we can again reform our Muslim Ummah and especially the Islamic seminaries, and we can start back the inventions and get back the leading positions in the humanity in a globe. So that's the only way. We have to forget the differences. We have to forget about the sectarian mentality and hold on to the principles of Islam led by our Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and continued by Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, particularly Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam. If we sit down and benefit from the contributions of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, we can again get back the position, a leading position in the globe. And the fifth category in which he was able to contribute, that he established the debates between different Islamic sects to open up the minds of people, minds of Muslims, and also he opened up the channels of debate with non-Muslims, the atheists, the Christians and Sabians and Jews and Hindus, and he had so many debates which unfortunately most of them were recorded in the history of Islam. And I urge and I recommend our brothers and sisters to go online, and these books are available, mashallah, and in different languages. Fortunately, it has been translated and it is available free of cost online, particularly alislam.org. If you go, you will find many books talking about the contributions of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, and very interesting debates he had with the atheists, he had with the non-Muslim brothers and sisters, with ethics, with akhlaq, with good character and with good conduct, and also the scholars of different sects within the Islamic Ummah, and he was able to dominate the legacy of Rasulullah through his knowledge, and he was able to convince them. And I think this is still alive, and this is the need of the time for our younger generations, especially those who want to do research on Islamic hot topics. They can go through with the debates of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, and they can make use of that in the present situation and try to convince the humanity towards the haqq and the truth and the fact which is there in those debates. And I encourage our brothers and sisters to go through with those things, and inshallah we all benefit from the contributions of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam. We, as a follower of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam and a follower of the Ja'fari jurisprudence, which was the legacy of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, we have to salute our Imam in a way that by our actions, by our behavior, by our character, we have to be true follower of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam. He himself mentioned, Kunu lana zaina wa la takunu alayna shayna. Be for us as we can proud of you, and do not bring down our image by your actions and behavior. So we have to be embodiment of the legacy of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, and that's how we can salute Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam. Assalamu alayka ya ibn Rasulillah. Assalamu alayka ya Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam. Wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wassalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi